Can a narcissist turn you into a narcissist? If you're new here, I share my personal experiences having suffered from narcissistic abuse in both intimate family relationships to help other people heal. Here's the thing about being in a relationship with a narcissist. They are very likely to make their victims feel like the victim is solely and entirely responsible for any issues in the relationship. And so after you leave that relationship, you naturally want to take on some blame, and maybe it even gives you a little bit more control over the situation if you are somewhat to blame for what happened to you. You may also notice as you leave that narcissistically abusive relationship that you're no longer your best self any longer. You've been sort of like thrown off of like who you are. And you're probably thinking back to a lot of the things that narcissist said to you throughout the entire relationship. They were probably constantly blaming you, gaslighting you into thinking that you are the problem. They might have even said, I've never had these problems with anyone else before except for you, which by the way is a lie. So when you leave these relationships, you tend to look back to who you were before you were in that relationship. And you're like, gosh, I was a totally different person before that happened to me. Why am I not just snapping back into that? It's because you're processing a lot of things. You're very angry, likely, about the things that happened to you as well. And anger is a healthy emotion. But the main quality of victims when they leave a narcissistically abusive relationship is self-blame. If you think about who you actually are inside, it will give you some better clarity as to whether or not you are the narcissist. Narcissists, generally speaking, lack empathy. Do you care about other people, like genuinely and consistently? And do you care how your behavior affects other people? So even if you're acting a little off from who you think you are in your head or who you were before that relationship, maybe you have a little bit more anger now, or you're a little bit more irritable or things like that. If you care about how that affects other people in your life, you're not a narcissist. It's also important to note when narcissism is actually formed in people. Narcissism is formed through like developmental years. It is not something that is formed in adulthood unless there has been some sort of actual trauma to the brain. And I'm talking like a stroke. Things like that could potentially alter your brain and your personality and turn you potentially into a narcissist. If that didn't happen and your only exposure to a narcissist is this relationship that you were in, you're not going to like turn into a narcissist. With that being said, if you grew up with a narcissistic parent, like I did, once you become a fully formed adult, if you didn't turn into a narcissist from that experience, you likely turned into a people pleaser, which narcissists are attracted to, which is probably why you ended up in a narcissistically abusive relationship. But there's no like switch inside of you that like gets flipped on where like now you've been with a narcissist, and since you were raised by a narcissist and now you're having these tendencies, the switch has been flipped and now you're a narcissist. No, you form that in development. Who you became as an adult stays solid. And sure, there might be some parts of you that you don't really like anymore, you don't really recognize, you're not the same person you were in the past. But if you recognize that and you recognize how it affects other people and you want to change that, you're not the narcissist, no matter what that narcissist told you.